Welcome back to The Wandering Screen. I'm Matt Koss, and today I'm looking at the live-action Disney remake of Snow White. So let's get started. Director Marc Webb, known for 500 Days of Summer and The Amazing Spider-Man, brings a vibrant, faithful adaptation of the 1937 animated classic Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to life, based on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Snow White, played by Emilia Faucher as a young Snow White and then Rachel Zegler as the older version, finds herself stuck living with her evil stepmother, the Queen, Gadot, after her father mysteriously disappears and is presumed dead. The Queen has transformed their once thriving kingdom into a fortress built to feed her vanity. Farmers have become soldiers, and Snow White, once a beloved princess, has been demoted to maid, spending her days cleaning floors. But then, one day, Snow White crosses paths with Jonathan, a handsome bandit stealing potatoes and played by a very charismatic Andrew Burlap. After he's punished by the Queen, he realizes Snow White is the long-lost princess and encourages her to meet him in the forest beyond the palace. After a few too many clashes with her stepmother, Snow White is sentenced to death. Enter the huntsman, Anzu Kabia, who lets Snow White escape, and she stumbles into the home of seven dwarves. After realizing that the Queen is still hunting her down, Snow White must find her inner strength and become the leader her parents always believed she could be. There's a truly magical moment toward the end of the first act when Snow White is sprinting through a hauntingly dark forest with trees closing in on her and blocking her path. She falls through the earth into water and emerges on the other side exhausted and in despair. And then deer and rabbits start appearing at the corners of the screen, and the darkness slowly transforms into light, revealing vibrant, colorful flowers and a shimmering sun. And it's a stunning visual moment that, despite all the noise surrounding the film's release, especially all the controversy, it's a reminder that sometimes all that matters is what's on the screen. The breathtaking beauty of this moment is the result of hundreds of artists reimagining a beloved fairy tale nearly 90 years after the original animation. It's a feat worth celebrating and acknowledging. At the heart of this film, which clocks in at a brisk hour and 49 minutes, is a throwback that's accessible to a new generation, even though we could have all just watched the 1937 version again on streaming. The film, written by Aaron Cressida Wilson, taps into the universal theme of becoming anything you want to be, something that's sure to resonate with little kids and Disney fans alike. It's aimed squarely at its target audience, and if you're dragged along for the ride, it's not so bad. Honestly, I was just happy that it was under 2 hours. The film blends new songs by Benj Pasek and Justin Paul with 4 classic tracks from the original Snow White as well. The new tunes, like Snow White's Waiting on a Wish, build to such a beautiful crescendo, and Rachel Zegler's vocals absolutely soar. Meanwhile, the Whistle While You Work sequence from the old Snow White, where Snow White teams up with each dwarf to clean the house, has some of the most fun, well-edited moments in the film. Mark Sanger's editing gives it such a rhythm and clarity, it's impossible not to get swept up in it. And then there's Gal Gadot, who tests her musical chops with her Evil Queen track, the new All Is Fair. And it's a perfect storm of costuming, makeup, music, and production design that pulls you into the Queen's deliciously venomous world. Now, the CGI dwarfs, they're fine. Disney clearly saved some coin by rendering them digitally instead of investing in live-action stunt work. But some of their appearances worked better than others. I, for one, was genuinely terrified by Dopey. He looked like Alfred E. Newman, the guy from Mad Magazine. I also couldn't help but wonder how these 7 random men with questionable sunscreen habits came to live together in a cottage. I kind of wanted their origin story, maybe a little flashback where they meet all their mothers. But hey, it's a fairy tale, not an HBO series. I had to remind myself of that. And as you can tell, I'm an unserious Disney viewer. I'm not the target audience, but I love dissecting movies and finding those odd little elements that spark my interest. For example, I overheard the woman next to me tell her partner how Snow White's hair in the live action film looks suspiciously like Lord Farquaad from Shrek. And let me tell you, once I heard that, I could not unsee it. It was very hard to let go. What the film absolutely nails, though, is the fairy tale vibe. It feels otherworldly, colourful, and familiar, almost as if you've stepped into a dream. Many aspects of the original animated film are beautifully realized in the costuming and the hair and makeup. Gal Gadot's Queen, in particular, is a stunning visual interpretation of the character with her black scaled costume that envelops her like armor. She completely inhabits this look, relying on her finger gestures and facial expressions to convey her malice. And I loved her song. It gives us a side of Gal Gadot that I really hadn't seen before. Rachel Zegler is also a revelation. Her voice is a true standout, especially in the stunning Waiting on a Wish, which is one of my highlights of the film. Zegler brings a wonderful blend of wonder and wisdom to Snow White, and you can really see her character's growth. But if I'm being honest, I could have used a bit more fun in Snow White's ultimate showdown with the Queen. It felt a bit rushed at the end, like they were ready to wrap up and move on. All in all, Snow White is a charming, visually stunning ride that brings a classic fairy tale to life for a new generation. And for those of us who grew up with the original, it's a fun, nostalgic trip, just maybe with a few minor quirky distractions along the way.
And now we're here to take it back.
You were saying?
I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
You've made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like and subscribe for all the latest movie and TV reviews. What's your favorite live action remake of a Disney film? Leave me a comment below and see you next time.